The micturition reflex is the voiding reflex. So the ability to empty your bladder or hold your bladder. So this process is a process that involves both the sympathetic nervous system, the parasympathetic nervous system, and the somatic nervous system. So just to orient ourselves with this picture that I drew, which isn't very good, we've got our kidneys here. Kidney. The bladder is here, and the bladder is made up of a muscle called the detrusor muscle. All right. This one here, this side here is a male bladder and urethra, and this is a female. And the difference basically is that males have a longer urethra than the females. So they have a little something extra here. Right here you have the prostate, which females do not have. And then there are two sphincters in the male urethra, the internal sphincter and the external. And women, or females, only have the external. They do not have the internal sphincter. So I'm just going to focus on the male side for what we're going to talk about. So I also added here some receptors. So this receptor up here is a muscarinic receptor. So it is parasympathetic. These green receptors here, this one is a beta receptor and this is an alpha receptor. So these are adrenergic receptors. They are sympathetic. And then this receptor that's down here is a nicotinic receptor. Okay. So when your bladder is full, we have nerves that, let's see. So we have nerves. In the sacrum, there is a nerve that starts in the sacrum, and it's called the pelvic nerve. And this pelvic nerve goes up and synapses with this muscarinic receptor on the bladder here. It's going to secrete acetylcholine. And what it's going to do is it is going to stimulate, let's put a little positive here, stimulate the detrusor muscle to contract. Okay, so this nerve, called the pelvic nerve, this is the pelvic nerve, is sympathetic. Excuse me, parasympathetic. Parasympathetic. So it's going to cause the detrusor muscle to contract. So if your bladder is full and this muscle is contracting, it's going to make you want to go to void your bladder. It's going to make you want to go to the bathroom. Along with this pelvic nerve coming from the sacrum, there's another nerve here. Comes here. And it goes over to this nicotinic receptor. And this is called the pudendal nerve. Pudendal nerve. This nerve is somatic. So if your parasympathetics, your pelvic nerve, is engaging this muscarinic receptor on the detrusor muscle, it means that the detrusor muscle is contracting and making you want to go to the bathroom. So at this point, the somatic nerve, the pudendal nerve, where the external sphincter is, you can either relax it and void the bladder, or you can hold it. And this is, remember, somatic is conscious. Okay, so this is skeletal muscle. All right, these other nerves here, or these other receptors here, are innervated from nerves, or a nerve that comes from the thoracic part of the spinal cord. So, pick a good color for that. Make it red, I guess. Okay, so that's black. Come on. Okay. So here's our nerve here, and it's going to come out. And we know there's a ganglia here. This is coming out of the sympathetic nerve. This is a sympathetic nerve, so it's going to synapse in the sympathetic chain. And then it's going to come out, and it's going to synapse here with these receptors, the beta and alpha receptors. Beta and alpha receptors, those are adrenergic receptors. Those are going to be sympathetic. This nerve is called the hypogastric nerve. So, hypogastric nerve, and it is sympathetic. So what it does over here is it comes over here to this beta receptor on the detrusor muscle, and it inhibits it, or makes it relax. So it sort of has an inhibitory effect there. So it makes the detrusor muscle relax. It also targets this internal sphincter, and that is only on males, but it tells the internal sphincter to contract. And that will cause you to hold the bladder and not want to void the bladder. So basically, the parasympathetics stimulate voiding. So they stimulate voiding by allowing or making the detrusor muscle contract. So contracts detrusor muscle. All right, and that stimulates the feeling of wanting to void the bladder. The somatic system, this is conscious, right? So this either contracts or relaxes the external sphincter. So if you are ready to go to the bathroom, you can. If you have nowhere to go, you can still hold your bladder or hold that urine even though you still feel like you have to go to the bathroom. The sympathetics by relaxing the detrusor muscle, and in men, stimulating that internal sphincter that allows us to hold urine. So you won't feel like you have to go to the bathroom. So overall, that is how micturition works. There's certainly more to it than that, but this is the basic thing of what happens. And just keep in mind too that women, they have a shorter urethra, so we only have an external sphincter. We don't have this internal sphincter, but it still works the same way.